The Ammons House in Gary, Indiana, quickly became a focal point for paranormal enthusiasts and skeptics alike after Latoya Ammons and her family reported harrowing experiences that sent shockwaves through the community. What began as an ordinary life for the family soon spiraled into a nightmare filled with strange occurrences that would rival the most infamous hauntings in history. Latoya moved into the modest home with her mother and 3 young children, excited for a fresh start. But within months, they were besieged by terrifying phenomena. Shadowy figures lurking in the corners, unexplained noises echoing through the halls, and an oppressive feeling that seemed to suffocate the air. The children reported seeing the man who would invade their dreams, and one of her sons claimed he was attacked by an invisible force. Desperate for help, Latoya sought medical assistance, bringing her children to the emergency room after witnessing them behave in ways that were alarming, screaming fits, unnatural strength, and conversations that left her and the medical staff bewildered. As their experiences gained attention, the house became a subject of scrutiny, with local authorities, church representatives, and the media converging to investigate the strange occurrences. Reports surfaced of police officers witnessing the children's inexplicable reactions and the pervasive, chilling atmosphere that seemed to envelop the home. Some witnesses claimed to feel an unsettling energy as soon as they stepped inside, while others attributed the family's experiences to stress and psychological trauma. As the tale of the Ammons family gained traction, it sparked intense debate. Could this be a genuine case of demonic possession, or was it a manifestation of mental health struggles? Paranormal investigators flocked to the house, eager to document any evidence of the supernatural. The stories were sensationalized in the media, echoing the historical haunting of the Amityville house and drawing public fascination. The family's plight reached a climax when a local priest was called in to perform an exorcism. Reports of the ceremony varied, with some stating it was successful in freeing the family from the dark influences plaguing them. Latoya and her children finally found relief, eventually relocating to Indianapolis, where they could start anew away from the shadows of their former home. Despite their escape, the Ammons house became a ghostly legend in Gary, with urban explorers and paranormal enthusiasts eager to uncover the truth behind the haunting. The house, abandoned and weathered, stood as a testament to the family's ordeal, drawing curious onlookers who wanted to witness the infamous sight for themselves. The story of the Ammons family continues to resonate, serving as a reminder of the fine line between belief and skepticism in the realm of the supernatural. Whether it was a case of true possession or a psychological crisis, the legacy of the Ammons house lives on, haunting the imagination of those who dare to delve into its dark history. Don't forget to subscribe and like if you liked this story. As the Ammons house sat abandoned, whispers of its dark history attracted the curious and the brave. Local ghost hunters, thrill seekers, and even documentary filmmakers began to descend upon Gary, eager to capture the essence of the house that had become synonymous with terror. Some came armed with cameras, hoping to document supernatural occurrences, while others sought to uncover the truth behind the chilling reports of demonic possession. Among these visitors was a group of amateur paranormal investigators led by Jenna, a young woman passionate about the unexplained. Intrigued by the Ammons family's story, she gathered her friends for an overnight investigation, convinced they could find evidence of the phenomena that had once plagued the home. Armed with EMF detectors, cameras, and a sense of determination, they approached the dilapidated structure, its windows dark and hollow, almost as if it were watching them. As they stepped inside, a musty smell enveloped them, and the temperature seemed to drop. The atmosphere was thick with tension, and Jenna felt an electric buzz in the air. "It's just the old house," she reassured her friends, trying to shake off her unease. They set up their equipment in the living room, the center of the Ammons family's most terrifying experiences. Hours passed with little to report. They shared stories of the family, trying to conjure a connection to the past. Suddenly, a loud bang echoed through the house, causing them all to jump. "Did you hear that?" one of Jenna's friends exclaimed, eyes wide with excitement and fear. They turned off their flashlights and sat in the dark, listening intently. "Let's ask some questions," Jenna suggested, her voice steady despite the pounding of her heart. They formed a circle, and she held a digital recorder in her hand. Is anyone here with us? We want to hear your story. As they waited in silence, an unsettling feeling crept over them. Jenna couldn't shake the impression that they were not alone. After a few moments, a faint voice seemed to answer back, barely audible but unmistakable. Help me. The group exchanged startled glances, adrenaline coursing through them. Jenna quickly played back the recording, and the chilling whisper sent shivers down their spines. They were more determined than ever to uncover the truth. Let's check the basement, Jenna suggested, recalling that the Ammons family had experienced some of their most distressing moments there. The group hesitated. The basement felt like the heart of the haunting, a place where shadows danced and fear reigned. But they pressed on, driven by a mix of curiosity and concern. Descending the creaky stairs, they found the basement dimly lit by their flashlights. The air felt heavier, thick with a sense of foreboding. In the corner stood an old, rusted furnace, and nearby, they noticed remnants of what looked like ritualistic symbols etched into the concrete walls. Do you think this is connected to what happened here? One of Jenna's friends asked, stepping closer to inspect the markings. It could be, Jenna replied, feeling a knot form in her stomach. If the family believed they were dealing with dark forces, they might have tried anything to protect themselves. Just then, the temperature in the room plummeted, and a cold breeze rushed past them, extinguishing one of the flashlights. Panic rose in Jenna's chest. Stay close, she urged as they huddled together, their breaths visible in the icy air. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed from the far end of the basement, sending them into a frenzy. They stumbled backward, hearts racing, and as they turned to flee, Jenna felt a heavy weight pressing down on her chest, as if an unseen force was holding her back. Jenna, her friends shouted, but she couldn't move, paralyzed by fear and an inexplicable connection to the space around her. In that moment, images flooded her mind. The family's struggles, their cries for help, and the dark presence that seemed to linger in the corners of the house. With a sudden rush of clarity, Jenna focused her thoughts. We're here to listen, she said aloud, her voice breaking the suffocating silence. We want to help. The pressure on her chest lifted, and the air seemed to shift. A soft, mournful whisper filled the room. Help us. Realizing that they needed to confront the darkness, Jenna rallied her friends. Let's work together. We need to show them they're not alone anymore. They formed a circle once again, holding hands tightly. Jenna led them in a calming chant, calling on any lingering spirits to find peace. As they spoke, the temperature gradually began to stabilize, and the oppressive weight felt lighter. Then, from the depths of the shadows, a figure began to materialize, a faint outline of a woman, her expression sorrowful yet hopeful. Jenna's heart raced, but she stood firm. We see you, she whispered. We want to help you find peace. The spirit hesitated, then moved closer, a look of longing on her face. The group felt a surge of empathy, and they began to share their own stories of struggles and resilience, hoping to create a bridge of understanding. As they poured out their hearts, the room began to glow with a warm light, illuminating the basement with an ethereal glow. The spirit responded, her face softening, and the energy shifted once more. Suddenly, Jenna's recorder crackled to life, capturing the moment. Thank you for seeing me. And in that moment, they realized they were no longer just investigating a haunting. They were part of a larger narrative, a story of connection, empathy, and the enduring power of compassion that transcended the boundaries between the living and the departed. As the light intensified, the spirit faded with a serene smile, leaving the group feeling lighter, as if a burden had been lifted from the house itself. They exchanged glances, a mix of relief and awe washing over them. But even as they stood in the basement, filled with hope, Jenna couldn't shake the feeling that the Ammons house still held untold stories. The journey was far from over, and they were just beginning to uncover the layers of history, pain, and healing embedded in its walls. As the warm light faded and the spirit of the woman departed, the atmosphere in the Ammons house shifted dramatically. Jenna and her friends felt an overwhelming sense of accomplishment, but there remained an undeniable tension in the air, a lingering echo of the experiences that had transpired within those walls. Driven by a newfound determination, they decided to further explore the house, hoping to unearth more about the family's past and the potential presence of other spirits. They split into pairs, searching for artifacts or evidence that could shed light on the circumstances surrounding Latoya Ammons and her children. Jenna and her friend, Marcus, ventured into the living room, where the family had reportedly experienced the most intense phenomena. They noticed an old, dusty photo album on a shelf, its cover worn but the pages intact. As they carefully flipped through the photographs, they found images of the Ammons family smiling together at birthday parties, holidays, and family outings. Yet, as they continued, a stark contrast emerged. The later photos revealed a gradual decline in happiness, shadowed expressions, and the ever-present sense of unease that seemed to envelop them. "This is heartbreaking," Jenna murmured, her fingers brushing over a picture of Latoya and her children. "They were once so full of life." Marcus nodded, looking troubled. "It's like you can see the shift. Something changed in that house." Meanwhile, in the basement, the remaining friends were combing through the remnants of the past. They uncovered old furniture, broken toys, and even remnants of what looked like a makeshift altar, an indication of desperate measures the family might have taken in a bid to find relief from the torment they endured. The atmosphere felt heavy, imbued with the weight of despair and fear. Back upstairs, Jenna and Marcus decided to regroup. As they entered the basement, they were immediately struck by the palpable energy in the air. The remnants of the family's suffering seemed to resonate through the walls, almost begging to be acknowledged. "I think we need to conduct another session," Jenna suggested. "There might be more spirits trapped here, or perhaps they were part of the Ammons family's story." As they set up their equipment again, Jenna felt a surge of responsibility. They weren't just here to investigate. They were also advocates for the spirits, providing a voice to those who had suffered in silence. With the group united once more, they prepared to communicate with any remaining entities. "Let's invite anyone who wants to speak," Jenna announced, her voice steady. "We're here to listen." As they settled into a circle, Jenna felt a familiar chill sweep through the room. This time, however, it felt different, more intimate, less oppressive. They began to share their own fears and hopes, establishing a connection that transcended the physical realm. Suddenly, the temperature dropped sharply, and a flicker of movement caught Jenna's eye in the corner of the basement. A shadow materialized, a figure that seemed to shift between dimensions. The group collectively held their breath, hearts pounding in unison. "Who are you?" Jenna asked, her voice calm but filled with urgency. The figure slowly approached, revealing the ethereal form of a young boy, his expression a mixture of confusion and longing. Jenna's heart ached at the sight. This was a child who had once inhabited this space, trapped by circumstances beyond his control. "I'm lost," the boy whispered, his voice barely audible. Understanding washed over the group. They were witnessing the manifestation of a spirit that needed help, a child who perhaps had been overlooked amidst the chaos of the Ammons family's struggles. "Can you tell us your name?" Jenna urged gently, hoping to establish trust. "Daniel," he replied, a flicker of recognition in his eyes. As Jenna connected with Daniel, she felt a profound empathy. "Daniel, you don't have to be afraid. We're here for you. What do you need?" The boy hesitated, glancing around as if remembering fragments of his past. I want to go home." In that moment, Jenna understood that this spirit, like the Ammons family, was tied to a history of suffering that needed to be addressed. The connection between the living and the dead was more intricate than she had imagined. Each spirit had its own story, its own pain. "Let's help him," she said, turning to her friends. "We need to create a space for healing." Together, they began to speak words of reassurance, inviting Daniel to share his story. As they did, the energy in the room shifted once again, a sense of warmth enveloping them. Daniel began to recount his experiences, revealing how he had once lived in the house before it became a site of terror. As he spoke, the atmosphere lightened, and they felt a collective release of energy. Jenna sensed that they were peeling back the layers of trauma that had long haunted this place, beginning to restore a sense of peace. With each word, they created a bridge for Daniel, helping him to understand that he was not forgotten and that he could move on. The group felt a wave of compassion wash over them, and they continued to offer their support, guiding Daniel toward the light of healing. Just as they felt the spirit begin to transform, the basement filled with a soft, luminous glow. The air sparkled with energy, and the group felt the presence of something much larger than themselves. In that moment, they realized they were part of a transformative process, not just for the spirits but for themselves as well. As the light enveloped Daniel, he smiled, finally free from the bonds of his earthly ties. "Thank you," he whispered, his voice now full of warmth and gratitude, before he faded into the light. The basement, once steeped in darkness and despair, felt renewed. Jenna and her friends stood in awe, realizing they had not only connected with the spirits of the house, but had also uncovered the profound ability of compassion and understanding to heal. Though the journey was far from over, they had taken a significant step toward unraveling the complex tapestry of stories woven into the fabric of the Ammons House. With a sense of purpose, they prepared to continue their exploration, ready to face whatever came next, fueled by the belief that every spirit, every story, deserved to be told. With Daniel's spirit now at peace, the atmosphere in the Ammons House felt lighter, infused with a sense of healing. Jenna and her friends exchanged glances, a mix of relief and exhilaration coursing through them. They had connected with a spirit in need and helped him find closure, but they knew there was still much to uncover in this enigmatic house. Determined to continue their work, they turned their focus back to the remnants of the past. They scoured the basement for more clues, hoping to uncover additional stories that might lead to other spirits in need of help. As they sifted through the debris, Jenna's eyes fell upon an old trunk partially hidden beneath some old blankets. With a sense of anticipation, she and Marcus pried it open, revealing a collection of personal belongings: children's toys, letters, and photographs. Among them was a small, faded diary that appeared to belong to Latoya Ammons herself. Jenna gently opened the diary, her heart racing as she began to read the entries. The words poured out in a raw, emotional stream, detailing the family's struggles, fears, and hopes during their time in the house. Latoya wrote about the moments of joy and love, juxtaposed with the growing darkness that began to suffocate their home. It was a poignant reminder of the life that had existed before the torment, a testament to their resilience in the face of despair. Jenna shared the entries with her friends, and they gathered around, each feeling a deep connection to Latoya's words. They realized that understanding her experience was crucial not just for the spirits still lingering but for the legacy of the family that had endured so much suffering. As they read, they discovered a particular entry that spoke of a ritual Latoya had attempted in hopes of cleansing the house. The details were vague, but it hinted at a symbolic act that could bring peace. Inspired, Jenna proposed that they replicate the ritual in the basement, using the items they had found. Together, they gathered the remnants from the trunk, setting up a small, respectful altar. They lit candles, placed the photographs around, and read aloud from the diary, honoring Latoya and her family. With each word, they felt the energy of the house shift, a subtle warmth enveloping them. As they completed the ritual, a gentle breeze swept through the basement, carrying with it a sense of calm and closure. They stood in silence for a moment, absorbing the experience, and felt a collective understanding that they were not just helping the spirits but also paying tribute to the family who had suffered. When they finally left the Ammons house, the moon hung high in the sky, illuminating the path ahead. The group felt a sense of accomplishment, a bond forged through their shared experience. They knew their work was not just an investigation but a meaningful journey toward understanding the interconnectedness of all lives past, present, and future. As they drove away from the house, Jenna glanced back, feeling a profound sense of gratitude. The Ammons house, once a site of horror, had transformed into a space of healing. She understood that while the stories of the past would always linger, they now carried a sense of hope and renewal. In the months that followed, Jenna and her friends kept in touch, sharing updates and reflections. Inspired by their experience, they decided to document their journey, creating a blog that focused on healing spaces and the importance of honoring the stories of those who had come before. Their work resonated with others, drawing in a community of people eager to explore the intersection of history, spirituality, and healing. They organized gatherings at the Ammons House, inviting local historians, paranormal enthusiasts, and spiritual leaders to share their experiences and connect with the energy of the place. Each gathering added another layer to the house's legacy, turning it into a space for remembrance and healing. As stories were shared, the Ammons House became a sanctuary, a place where the past could be honored and the future embraced. Jenna felt a deep sense of purpose in their mission. She had started with the desire to explore the supernatural but had discovered something far more significant: the power of compassion and understanding to bridge the gap between the living and the departed. As they continued to honor the stories of those who had once walked the halls of the Ammons House, Jenna realized that they had not just uncovered the truth about the spirits but had also found a way to transform the darkness into light, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, and the belief that every story, no matter how tragic, has the potential to lead to healing and hope. Don't forget to subscribe and like if you liked this story.